2 pistol red dots, duty oriented, $400. Let's go.
Everyone, including this channel, knows the name Trijicon. Known for making rugged and time-tested optics, the Trijicon RMR 06 Type 2 continues that tradition. The first thing you're going to see is this forged aluminum housing, same type used in the Trijicon ACOG lines. So within the window, you'll find a 3.25 MOA reticle, which I think is a great compromise between precise and still big enough to acquire quickly. The reticle itself can go for 4 years on a single battery, which is great. So overall on paper, everything sounds great, but as always on this channel, you have to put the specs to practice, so let's hear from the shooters how it really works.
It has very large brightness knobs, plus and minus on the left-hand side. It's the same size as the Trijicon SRO. Unfortunately, it's also the same stiffness as the SRO. Once you set it, I guess that's a good thing. You know it's not going to change. However, you do need to press it with a decent amount of force in order to register the action, okay? The brightness is controlled by the battery, and the battery, unfortunately, is underneath the optic, so you will need to remove the optic in order to change the battery. So that's not so great. A lot of later optics change that, but the RMR still has that design. So adjustment knob. It's thick enough to where you can use a 9mm brass, which is really nice. And lastly, as far as mounting, it uses the RMR mounting plate, so there's lots of those options available, so you should be able to drop that into the SRO, RMR, any Trijicon product. The first thing you're going to notice is the window size is actually small. For this sight to be durable, I guess that is the sacrifice you make, is it's a small window size. Having said that, when I raise the gun, I can still see the optic come up in my field of view. I never had any problems. The glass quality is not great. It's okay. You're going to see a lot of fisheye, and along with that fisheye, around the edges, you're going to see a lot of green-blue color. For durability or CCW, that may not matter to you. Talk about the reticle. So the reticle is a 3.25 MOA, and it's super bright, plenty bright on a bright day, so it'll bloom a little bit, and you'll never have any problem seeing it. Let's talk about the glare. So the glare is similar to the SRO. Pointed at the sun is low in the sky, you're going to get a bad sunspot. Be aware that, hey, the red dot that's moving, that's yours. That is your aiming dot. The other one is a sunspot.
If you guys have seen any of the recent videos, you've seen Holosun featured for its wide variety of red dots. So with the newly upgraded Holosun 508T version 2, let's look at how the specs stack up. First thing you're going to notice is this new titanium shell, the T in its model number, which gives it its duty status. Within the hardened shell, you got a 2 MOA reticle, which is very precise, and in true Holosun tradition, you can change the reticle to different options, including a circle dot reticle. And you get a choice of automatic solar power and using the shake awake motion sensor as well. So overall, on paper, its specs exceed the RMR. So let's hear from the shooters how it really works.
As far as brightness controls, on the side here we have minus and plus stacked on top of each other. These are really nice buttons. They're covered in rubber, but they still remain very tactile and clicky. So if you hold plus, that's going to be what switches between auto solar brightness mode and manual brightness mode. And then minus will actually cycle through your reticle options. So hold minus until the reticle switches. Turning the sight off is both at once, like an EOTech, and then either one to turn it back on. Now, as far as elevation and windage adjustments go, you're going to need the tool that Holosun includes, or a little tiny flathead to get in there. A 22 case may work as well, but I think a 9mm is a little too big. Battery compartment is on the side, which also uses the little flathead to get in there, and it's side mounted, so not like the old version, which was under the sight. So that's a nice improvement. And then last thing is the mounting. So this does share the RMR pattern, which is really nice. you will be able to drop this sight into a slide that you have milled for an RMR already. However, the front to back dimensions are slightly different, and the 508T is actually slightly smaller. So if you have a sight specifically milled for the 508T and it is a flush fit, you may not be able to drop your RMR into that without, filing down or having it recut for a few thousandths clearance. Housing and durability is prioritized over window size. So this one does have a relatively small window, although it is comparable in size to the RMR. You'll notice that there is definitely some distortion around the edges, but the center remains relatively clear, and it's similar to the RMR in that sense. The color distortion, however, though, is definitely not as much. With the RMR, you see a lot of green, bluish tint. With this one, it's still there, but it's not as pronounced. Now, the reticle on this sight is something that sets it apart from a lot of other ones, right? You have the option of 3 different reticles. You have the center dot, which is 2 MOA. You have the dot plus the circle around it, and the circle is 32 MOA. You also have the option of a circle only. I actually really like running the circle dot with the pistol because it's in that small window. It's a lot easier to track that, especially in motion, and it lets me know exactly where my aiming point is at more points in time. As far as glare goes, you will see a sunspot appear on the glass when you point it close to the sun. However, that sunspot appears more pinkish white than red, so it still allows you to distinguish where your reticle dot is versus the sunspot dot.
In summary, I think for the Trijicon RMR, you would choose the sight if you're interested in an optic that's sleek in design, has a long history of duty. On the Holosun side, this is a newer sight, so if you're interested for a larger feature set, including solar and changeable reticles and a side changeable battery, this is definitely the sight for you. So in the duty market, both of these are excellent choices. We'll see you next time.
As a side note, we put a lot of rounds through our equipment, but we'll never put as many rounds through them as all of you combined. So if you have any feedback regarding the long-term durability of anything mentioned on this channel, please feel free to add your experiences in the comments section below. If you find this video useful, please like, comment, and subscribe, and visit us on Facebook as well. All pistol work seen in this video was done by Brecky Custom. Check out their services at breckycustom.com. Lastly, if you're looking for ammo, check out our sponsor, Impact Ammo. A discount code is available in the description below along with all other equipment. We'll see you next time.